And the final point I'll make, and then I'll say what else I have to say tomorrow, because I'll get a second shot at it, is that one of the things that pleases me most as I look around this room is that it's a different group than the one that I talked to 20 years ago when I was talking about climate change. As I think it was Ronald Reagan who said it was mostly just the tree huggers. You know, the tree huggers were in the room. Linda, isn't that right? You and I were around those discussions 20 years ago. And there's still quite a few tree huggers in this room, but there's a lot of other people too. People who are interested in development issues. I mean, it was very difficult to link up the issues of real development with those who were concerned about, you know, dealing with climate change. And even more recently now, we are getting into a whole question that is really the centerpiece that Michigan and others have put together around what are the moral issues, what are the values issues that we're confronting right now. And that's really a wrenching out of. I appreciated Jim Proffitt's comments earlier. I haven't heard everybody here today. I've tried to kind of follow it, but I had to rush in and out because my other day job is just across the hall. But I do think that this is a big struggle for us. And I think, and I may be thrown out of the room for this, I think that fundamentally, if we grasp what this issue is all about, most of what we have thought about in terms of faith experiences and theology will change dramatically in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I don't know what to compare it with. Would you compare it to the Reformation? I don't know. I think it may be off the Richter scale in terms of what it will actually look like. So here we are. We're faced with radically changing our economic structures, how we use energy, how we organize society, how we live out our values. And this is terra incognita for us. We do not know where this is going to take us. I wish I could stand here with some kind of simple formula and say, I've got the solution, eureka, I have the answer. I've barely got the question. And I think many of us, if we think about it, that's really where we are at the moment. So there is a line. Marty put this in her letter from Copenhagen. It's a quote from Martin Luther King, which he said when he was writing from the Birmingham jail about the injustice of segregation and racial discrimination. He said there is a fierce urgency, the fierce urgency of now. That's what we're faced with. Because if there's one thing that has struck me in sort of a little like Rip Van Winkle after doing all this environment stuff 20 years ago and then coming back into it over the last few months, the one thing I've learned, most of what we looked at has turned out to be true. If there is one thing that we maybe did not look at, two things that we did not look at enough. One was we had no idea what was going on in the oceans. And we heard eloquently from Alana Mitchell this morning, and please read her book because she has mapped it out in the clearest possible way. And the other thing, and this is I don't want to make people really uncomfortable at the end of the day, but it's the acceleration. It's the speed at which things are happening beyond any anticipation that things could change that quickly. So King's words from almost 50 years ago are a clarion call to us. We don't have the luxury of thinking, maybe we can talk about this for a few more years, maybe we can deal with it next year at another conference, or maybe we'll get a report 5 years from now. We can't do that. We are on the hook. Not some other generation, it's us. And so, even though I'm many years older than quite a few people here, I know that whatever life I have left to me, I have to do whatever I can to try and support and assist and guide and give some clarity to where it is we need to go. Likely the most shocking thing, just off the top, is that we have to get off our carbon addiction. That's what Bill McGibbon and others are saying absolutely clearly. We cannot afford to use another drop of carbon. It isn't going down to 20% or 40% or 75%. It's ending a carbon economy that has gone longer than any of us in this room and moving to another place. I think the more I get some sense of this, this could be a very exciting venture, but let's not kid ourselves. It will not be easy. It will be tough. It will be damn tough.